Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Deployed Engineer channel. This is my first episode, and I'm super excited to have Kenny as my first guest on the podcast. The goal of this channel is to share insights about AI, software engineering, discuss very different trends, and get insights from engineers who are actually working at different places and to understand how AI is really improving their workflows, what are some of the bottlenecks they see, and get practical advice. And Kenny here is a master student at Carnegie Mellon University, which is one of the best universities in the world when it comes to computer science. I have learned a lot of things from Kenny. We both work at the same place, and he is a deployed AI engineer working at Addy, where we are automating loan origination. And yeah, I'm super excited. I will just get Kenny to tell me more about himself. So Kenny, yeah, ball just rolls to you. Can you tell me how did you get into computer science, and tell me a little bit about what your interests are and what you are currently doing and your goals. Yeah.
Sure. Like, firstly, thanks, Bolek. I'm really excited to be here today, and thanks for having me on this show. And my name is Kenny, and I'm currently a master's student in software engineering and at the Carnegie Mellon University in the Silicon Valley campus. So before coming to say, I just wanted to share some of my background first, and then I can talk about computer science more. So before I joined the CNU, I work as a research assistant and did some projects related to machine learning and language generation. Yeah, basically the natural language process. Yeah. And I met the Bolek at work. And so we are both forward deploy engineer and at the same company. And we have had a lot of fun conversation about how AI changed the way we build and how we communicate as engineers and what it means to grow in this field. So yeah, thank you for inviting me to the podcast. Yeah, and I wanted to share the little bit I have some story about why I chose the computer science to jump into this field. Yeah. So I think it's first thing I was not majoring when I was undergrad. I was not majoring the computer science. I was majoring information management, which is more business originated. And yeah, most of business side, a little about the coding side. Yeah, but when I was second year in the undergrad, it was the first time to learn Java. Yeah, and it was really tough for me. Like I barely understand what's the what's the professor was talking on. Like he told me in the first week saying that we should have array something there. I was so confused. Like what? I don't know what is the language called Java. You just start to teach me what is array, and then and I was so confused at that time. Yeah, so I kind of not put so much focus on the coding in the second year. So when the chance opportunity I get into is because on the third junior year, I think I'm thinking about how to apply for the grade school. Yeah, especially in America, I like the Silicon Valley culture because I heard so many stories from this, like someone who become they create their own company like Elon Musk, I would say I got most influence from him. Yeah, and yeah, he is really talented because I learned it from him is the first principle. I think the idea I really admire it because I think something we just think it too complicated for nowadays. If we just look into the root cause, and this is what I really like to do, we need to understand what's the root cause of problem because sometimes the problem is not founded by customer, it's founded by the people who really dig into this field. Yeah, so we just need to find the root cause. I really like the first principle thinking, and we can base on that to build something that really helps people. Yeah, so that's what it shaped me, and in the first it is thinking. So that's why I started to on the side to study some computer science subjects. For example, discrete math, like algorithms and data structure, like this thing. I go to the courses and to the computer science department and to see what is going on in this field? Like how can I build it through the courses? But it turns out that it's not works for me so well, Like I don't really like to learn the subject at the school.
Yeah.
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 So that's why I started finding another way to learn it. It's like to do some research. Yeah. So this is the other opportunity opened the gate for me to get into the computer science field. Yeah, because in the research field, like mostly we are like doing some experiments. Yeah, and I like to do experiments. Yeah, I like to do experiments and then to see what's happening and what things I'm missing, so I can go back to learn like what I have missing. Yeah, so that's the things what that got me into the research. Yeah, and okay, so after that, I do the collaboration with my professor during the first research project is the stock prediction like a machine learning model. And we are using like really easy model like XGBoost. Yeah, like this kind of easy model for prediction. Because at that time, like in school, we don't have so much budget for buying a computer or GPUs to train like deep learning models. So yeah, we are basically using a really cheap solution for that. But it turns out like it's really interesting because what we are do is like we use the stock market data in a Yahoo, and it predict the stock value in the Taiwan. And during like a normal period and the COVID period, there was so big difference. Yeah. So we just found out that actually like the small company, yeah, that during the like COVID, I think they did really well on that. They're like I mean the model did really well on the prediction on the small company stock. I mean, oh,
That's awesome.
that's something. That's something. And yeah, so I think it's why it really like to get into this field because I found something interesting. So yeah, basically, and after that, after the senior year, I went to another research institute. Yeah, and also in Taiwan, and I also do some like language processing there. And it was really interesting as well because what we're doing is like we have camera pictures from the car, so imagine you have like surrounding view of the car and you wanted to turn it into like engaging questions. So when you are driving, you probably sometimes feel bored. You can like let the AI to ask you some engaging questions like, oh, what do you think the most historical like symbols in this city? Yeah, like has it start like some start gaming to you like yeah, and you will feel like it's interesting. So our project is like to build surrounding pictures and put it into a model, and it will generate some like individual questions. So I first joined that research group. Yeah, although I was like still really young, you know, like I want to learn more about machine learning. So I begin join a group. Although I'm not really good at like building model something at that time, but I still really enjoying that. Like collaborate with the people who really dive into the like architecture of the model and how to make a performance well, or also how to like make the model small. So that give me really valuable experience and also like really interesting uh I mean ideas that trigger me to study the grade school. Yeah, for sure. So that's why I came to the Silicon Valley for the grade school. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm really lucky that I think because most people probably they did like computer science for 4 years and then they go to grad school. And but I did not do like that. Yeah. So basically I was like triggered by the interest that I like to do some experiments. Yeah.
That's really cool. You got into computer science a lot later in terms of like, you had a business background and then you decided that, hey, I'm gonna give computer science a chance. Like, there's some people who want to like, ramp up or learn new skills down the road. And, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to learn new things and break into a field in that sense? Like, if you could give me a 30-second primer on how do you learn now, and are there any ways you optimize your learning even in grad school, like overall, using AI or otherwise?
Yeah, I would say I was really lucky because when I was first jumped into the like computer science field and during like I think it's like 2022 to 2023 and there was the ChatGPT just released, you know? So I was the first like to like user I saw the news. I know that there is like some tool It's like natural language chatbot. You can talk anything to it, it can respond it. So that time I mean, before that I have some coding experience, but when that tool just come, I just noticed that, oh, this is a great tool for me, actually. Like the chatbot, it can like explain the details and something like I'm missing during the school for me. So during my like mostly like projects in the lab to doing the experiment, I use a lot of ChatGPT for sure. So what I did is like firstly I will let you to break it down the big problems. I'm not good at solving the big problems, but I think AI is really good at solving big problems. So I think I just let them first to break to down to the really tiny thing. And I study from the tiny things and to see like, do we like solve this? Like what's the order I should solve it, like priority things. Yeah. So I will say mostly if there's a programming problem, yeah, I will study from the really easy to see that feedback, like front end for sure. Like I really like to see the feedback first. Yeah, and then we go through more and to the idea that it's really like stuck me. And then we study like iterate with the ChatGPT a lot. And also like during like the research, because I was in the research lab and we found out that ChatGPT like improves so fast. Like every week it updates. So basically, I just wanted to utilize his ability to help me more. Yeah. So actually, we also use the ChatGPT to generate some data. So to train our model as well. Yeah, that's because he is really good at generating like something. Yeah, so I would say there are so many like paper that are talking about how to generate the data through the AI. Yeah, and high quality data. I would say yeah, really impressed. Yeah, at that time. Yeah,
That's
so
cool. Mhm.
yeah, so I
So,
think like
yeah, so when you're like reading a paper, like are you almost always using ChatGPT to sort of read and research that paper with ChatGPT and discuss with it? Like, what's your strategy?
yeah, true. Firstly, I was using the at first I used the like really traditional way to look the abstract to the limitation and to see the reference and then start to see what's the step their experiments has done. But after ChatGPT comes, I just use that to say, okay, give me the summarize about this abstract. And also like give me some like a reference. I will pull like some reference because there are listed reference in the paper some yeah most of time and you can just search it on the website and I give the all the contents to ChatGPT and saying, hey, like do you think this paper is like really change something? Because I will what I'm thinking is like most paper they did not really do a big improvement. Some of them just I was not say their evidence is really solid because in different environment to make experiment, I think especially in machine learning model, always not accurate. There is a bias there, including your data what you train until the code what you write. And I really believe that some only few paper that has made much change. Yeah, so I will really quite wanted to understand what's the some paper I read is really valuable to read or not. So I first just use ChatGPT to make them to help me to understand what's the really good contribution on this paper and what's the source, what's the innovation he gives me. Yeah, and then starting from that point, I can make some decision. Can I combine some of their methodology, their advantages together? And make it better. Yeah. So yeah, that's true. That's true. I will say ChatGPT really helped me to research because I was not really good at English. Yeah, and I has a feeling like always that if you are good at English, you are definitely good at using ChatGPT because you can say something really clear and the ChatGPT can understand your context more and give you accurate answer. Yeah, because sometimes I just feel like so annoyed like I need to if I didn't type explain really well, it still cannot capture what I mean. And I need to put a lot of effort to iterate with his conversation. That's really annoying. But now that I think it's changing, yeah, because we can. I think the model just improved itself a lot, so it can allow you to give you more context, so they will understand more for sure. But I mean, if you because like you can see like AI can write code nowadays so much. so many. And the thing is that how do we manage the AI to do it? So I will believe that if we still learn English is so important because if we can give more accurate comments, they can perform better than the others' performance. So this is a
Okay.
great trend.
So are you implying that the results that we get, when we're using ChatGPT in English versus when you use Mandarin, like these are clear, better output in terms of like what you're looking for, or would you say it's one on one? Like, do you feel that difference, or typically they give you, you're getting about the same type of results?
That is really good question. You know, sometimes I found that in the ChatGPT, like nowadays version, like I will say not pretty much different if I use Mandarin and English. Yeah. But when I was using English, I can express more accurately actually sometimes. Because in Chinese, in some contexts we use some words probably cannot like reflect the real scenario in the some context of English. Yeah, because if you like read something in English and you want to ask question about that content, it's really hard you to put the accurate Chinese explanation into the context and to ask the same type of question because sometimes you will feel like you cannot express like literally the same thing. And but when you are reading English things and you use English to you can like really capture the keywords and really accurate to say what you want. And in this case, I feel like it can like more quickly to capture what I want and also give me some really simple answer first time. It will not give you like a long this like explanation first. Yeah. So sometimes I will see English is more intuitive and more like you save sometimes actually if you are reading some English context and you want to ask about the English context things. You must use English, I would say. Yeah, it will save time.
Oh, so you're saying, yeah, basically when you're working with inputs or things that are English, instead of translating it into Mandarin and then getting an answer and then translating, you'd rather just have, interpret the English inputs and English outputs, and you would find that you get a lot better results. But if you are like speaking in terms of the context when understanding something in Mandarin, for example, you would just have Mandarin as the input and Mandarin as the output, and that would be the best way to sort of understand, I guess, that instead of getting that
Yes.
translation layer. So I think that's really interesting insight, actually. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's all great, and yeah, thanks for sharing some of that. How you're using that. Are there any other tools, that you're using in terms of like searching, or are you using things like voice in your day-to-day life, using any specific types of AI technology day-to-day to make your life better at work, at home, whether it be shopping, whatever it is like? So, just wanted to understand that.
Well, that's a good question. I think usually in the daily life, I use the ChatGPT still a lot because he's like I think he's like the most friendly agent to talk with. He will
Yes,
always like
definitely.
yeah to say something really good to you. And first, also I will use this like because I use the iOS, so I use the there's like a really easy symbol on the iPhone. You can just click it and they can like directly go to the camera, go to the voice, go to the like chatting mode. So you don't need to open the app to start it with that. You just click one button and it will go directly what function you want. And in that case, I think it's really easy for me because like when I was in the supermarket, I would just pick like just press one button and it will like for example chat mode. The chat mode will like you can see the what's the market products have and you can at the same time say chat with the agent, the model. So he can tell you like, oh, what's the product about this? Is it really popular in America? Because I was not live here for long, so for a long time. So I probably don't know like what products really popular here. So I will use the AI to help me to understand more context, like what's the product is really popular here and why the reason. Yeah, and is it cheap? That's important. Yeah, and
That's
most of the time they probably cannot really give you the real price because I mean the price in different region is different, but it can tell you like, oh, like some of people use that and because of why, and you can have a like sense like, well, okay, it's good. Like, so I like to use that in the daily life to explore the things I don't know, and yeah, that's a good thing. And the other thing is like the AI thing I use a lot is like cursor, like because I most time like working in the coding, so I like to use cursor for coding. Yeah, and I found the cursor is really make a coding really easy. Yeah. When I was remember I was learning Java. Oh, that is really tough. That was really tough. Like I need to like go website to search each syntax and to find the library, what's the meaning, the input, the output, and everything. And it's really takes time and also like make me like I feel like I'm really dumb. Like why I cannot like do something like just do it. And yeah, but which I just stuck there and don't know how to do it. But in the AI, like, actually you can like through chatting, if you try more times, actually it can give you more high quality like respond. Yeah, because he knows more context what they are doing. So I would say, yeah, the cursor did it really well because they optimized their model for the coding. Actually, I think the foundation still is cloud, but I think on the top of it, they still do some like process and make it so easier for people to use the cloud model. Yeah, so I would say it's really amazing. Yeah, and also I just like the last week I tried one product called Lovable, and which is so amazing. Like I mean, it's still expensive, I would say, but it's the effect they make is really shock. Like last week I was like building tool for our company for make a testathon. Okay, so the testathon is like a hackathon, but the main goal is to like everybody to find the bugs in our platform and to submit in the Jira ticket. Yeah, so I was thinking, hey, why don't we just build a website and that people to like just submit their bugs to there and they can generate it a Jira ticket automatically and we don't need to like put it manually on ourselves by ourselves. So I started using Lovable. Amazing. Like 6 hours, not even 6 hours. I just use like the first 2 hours to prompt and it can give you really beautiful front end and also like the back end. Because the back end, they mostly use the Superbase and which is allows an NCP a lot. And also I think Superbase have some like something like call functions. You can just define the function in the Superbase and you can call it directly in the front end. So, you know, like they don't like Lovable don't need to deal with the front end thing. They can just use the Superbase to deal with the sorry, you can just use the Superbase for whole backend. Yeah. So make it
It's
so
awesome.
easy. Yeah. And people just love it. Like my colleagues, they love to submit their bugs into the platform because it will like real time showing who submit the bugs. Yeah, it makes the competition more interesting. Yeah, just make people want to submit more bugs. Yeah, because we also have a leaderboard. So when they submit the bugs, how the model will like check their bug and give the score for them. Yeah, if it's really serious bug, it will get higher score. And then in
That
the end, we just yeah give the higher score. Who has higher score a big prize. Yeah, so it's really interesting. I use it in Lovebook.
That's really cool. So basically, using ChatGPT day to day, and you mentioned that you have a widget on your phone, and the widget is just makes it so easy for it to just boom, go one click and sort of get into the app, and you're able to like sort of shop or look up some information that you need to look up. You also, I'm guessing, use a lot of voice as well on that to brainstorm. As far as your coding goes, you mentioned cursor and you really like the cloud model, right? And you said that Lovable is great. You used it to build an internal tool for the company in one of the hackathon like events, and it really made the whole event engaging and really cool to hear those points of view. So youths and are you using like any other tools beyond besides that at work or like just otherwise that sort of are a little less known, for example?
Less known. Yeah, I think most of it is like about coding things. Yeah, like yeah, recently just found a cloud code. Yeah, it's really I think it's gonna have a really good output compared to the cursor because I think the foundation model is built by cloud, so they can really optimize their model for the cloud code, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, other really interesting, I think is like some video. Like I will try some like AI mode video, and you just need to give that context, and they just generate a video for you. So I was like lazy to write some like birthday cards for my friends. So sometimes I just found a AI video generator, and I just give him some prompts and saying, "Oh, my friend is like he loves science, and I wanted to build some like gift birthday cards for him. Like, what do you have idea? And if you have, just build make it a video for me." And yeah, basically it works really well. Like it turns out you give them like a scientist like fiction vibe. There's like a Tesla coil, and it
Yeah, the
shows like
Tesla coil.
the
Yeah,
birthday actually. And yeah, I mean, I use the AI to generate it mostly. Yeah. And you
that's
can
awesome.
just give the sound for it. So when my friend was seeing that, we was thinking, wow, it's such a nice gift I gave to him. Yeah. But
That's
actually it's OA generated. Yeah. I feel like if you can use that AI a lot, it can make life easier, way more easier. Also, like the Monica, I really like. It can like help you respond to email and help you to look the pull request, right? Yeah, and a lot of things I
Monica.
feel.
Just step back. Monica is it? It's a Chrome extension which is built by the team that has created Manus, right? Cognition. Is that
Yes,
Cognition? Okay. Oh, no, that's Devin. Sorry. So Manus is another company, right?
yeah, it's
Which is
basically from China. Yeah,
is from
but
China.
they
Yeah.
integrate so many things into one extension. It's amazing. Yeah, I would say sometimes I feel like too like overwhelming because they have so many features. But honestly, like I would say I like their features because some of them is really useful. But if they can like just show some really important things for me, I will be more willing to use more.
Definitely. Yeah. I've also been using that tool for doing pull requests and understanding pull requests actually, because it just sits on top of your browser and I'm able to read the pull requests and understand them and then make my own judgments about the code and comments if need be. It speeds things up quite a lot for me as well. That's nice. Are there any like tips and tricks you have for people which might not be commonly known? Let's say if you're writing code with cursor, or if if you're, for example, following any specific YouTube channels or any other resources or blogs you follow that really help you keep up with this type of systems.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the cursor, some really little trick. I think there are so many shorts that's talking about that. Like, for example, you can just use some keywords to make the cursor understand what's the file you are reading. And yeah, you can add the file and add the folder as well. And you can use the external links. Like, for example, you have API document, just give the API document link to the cursor. You can read all of them and give you some example. But when I use cursor, I feel like I think the most useful thing is like you always make a plan for them. Like you were always saying to, okay, you please make a plan first. Yeah, because most of the time, like cursor may like forget something he already done. So you need a file to keep track all his process. Yeah. So I think it's really good idea to make them to generate like for example like yeah make a plan for me and then explain it step by step. Okay, like there is step by step and just tell him do the MVP. Don't do too much. Yeah, and just make sure when they change something, if it's not on the plan, make sure they fix the plan. Yeah, that's also they're really important. So I think cursor have like something called cursor rule. You can define the rules there, but you also can still use like a markdown file in different folder and just whenever you use cursor, you just say to him, there's a file you need to look at first and make a plan. Yeah, and you can modify the plan in the same file as well. Yeah, I will say you will understand more context when you're coding, and yeah, just make them to work. You know, like AI, AI work is like make your life easier. So you should, and but still need someone to work, right? And that's the AI.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's cool. Have you encountered any sort of limitations and when you're working with these models, like you're using some tool and you face some bottleneck and you had to intervene to fix that issue? Have you had some of that, and where is it most commonly that you have found that there's a pattern of coming into the play and being the human in that system who is trying to correct things or steer things in the right track? Like, do you have any experiences as such?
Okay, so from my understanding, I think, yeah, is that the question about like how to make a decision to let AI to like implement? Is it like this kind of
The
knowledge?
point, basically limitations, right? So sometimes, just as an example, is like you might be searching for, let's take the chat gpt when instance. When it first came out, it did not have web search, and because it could not verify the latest resources or use the web tools, it could not give you the most recent answers, right? It did not give you the right answers most for the most recent things. So you had to take that limitation and use it, and take note of that and use it. I think in my experience, another instance is using cursor, for example, for writing code has some limitations. If I work with really large files, really huge code bases, cursor does break in some instances despite changing the models. Have you had any instances where you're using cloud code or cursor and you like hit a bump, and like how do you, have you experienced that, and like how do you navigate such a situation?
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think that cursors has still so many limitations, because sometimes even you give the context a lot to him, it probably is like too much for them to understand at once. So I think the really hard thing is to, I think I would say recently is refactor. Yeah, it's you know like cursor, if we want to refactor, it will like cost so much of the token. Yeah, that's the first thing. Like the cost will be too much, and the second is like probably it still make a plan, but it doesn't really follow the plan. I would say it it generate a plan, and I all agree with that. But sometimes it just not follow it. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I need to like iterate it to say, oh no no no, that's not like your plan. What I say, your plan is not like that. Yeah. So sometimes I think the problem is still the prompting is not well building, like because some of the plan actually is not specific enough. So I would say that's another thing I wanted to learn is like to how to make the prompt more and more clear and more like easy read for the AI, because I think AI actually they are reading the token, right? So no matter it's words or of the symbols, everything can be a token. Yeah. So I was thinking like probably they just need some like easy way to learn to read. Yeah, instead of just read the words. I don't know, but yeah, I mean the words is easy for us to understand for sure. Yeah. I mean the communication is not quite a lie or not. I would really like to think about future. Like, yeah, if we can not using words, we're just using some like signal to pass to the brain or something like that. Yeah, it will make life easier, right? Like neural links, what they do is to try to make this happen. Like the bandwidth for the brain is much higher than the just the text. Yeah, but I think so far the current implementation we can still like to find like a really clean and really good solution to write a clean instruction for them. Yeah, and yeah, I would say it's still the struggling for me. Like I still don't have really good idea like how to make this happen. But I will look on some people's posts to see is that really good things to going on.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a bottleneck, and like the systems, they say that, some people say, oh, engineers might be replaced, but there's really like a lot of issues with how much context it can take in single, in single shots, and there's a lot of nuances. I've worked with a lot of systems and I've tried to use cursor for things, and in a lot of instances I had to ask my fellow engineers to go down the road of explaining what the thinking was behind. And cursor couldn't 100% explain these systems which were disconnected from each other in some way. Take for instance, queues. I was working with queues, and sometimes the cursor cannot really see these external integrations. It does not have a picture of the external integrations altogether sometimes, and you have to figure out that by yourself, because cursor isn't connected to, for instance, your Google Cloud logs, or it's not connected to the queues on Google Cloud, and there's no way for cursor to understand or reproduce that flow of data in the first, when it's first even scanning the code. The code gives it some insight and angle, and it's easy when the flow is one way, right? Like, or even two way. But when the flow is sort of like going somewhere, and then there's an integration, and then another integration and another integration, I find that cursor, can really mislead you if you trust it too much on those things. So you have to sort of spoon feed the system in that case. So I do see some of those bottlenecks as well. And yeah, that's, I think, that's super interesting. Is there anything else you'd like to share with other fellow engineers or anyone who is in tech at this time? Anything just that pops up in your mind that maybe you wanted to share, like another 5 minutes or something?
Yeah, I just feel like AI is growing so fast. Like if we don't use more AI, somebody will use more familiar than you. Yeah, I will say like I really think we probably get the engineering jobs more boring, but I will I will need to say like how to utilize AI still is a big plus for an engineer. Yeah, like engineer nowadays probably no need to focus really on codes. I mean, they still need to focus because AI always make wrong, right? You need to review that. In sense that like I was thinking like in the future they will improve really fast because I can see like cursor they are using the code and they also give so many feedback from the code like coder, right? Every engineer use that so they can give so many feedback and they use that feedback to improve their model. I think in one day it's gonna really close to a human. Like for example, like from only few months I probably think he will go to like a mid level. Probably not the top architect things because he doesn't really know the whole picture actually. Especially like when you have a business and you need to communicate with customers. This is a huge barrier for AI. They cannot touch the real world. They only touch the word in the code base. Okay. So when it comes to this kind of a job, like talking to customer and knowing the needs and finding the root cause and command the AI to help you finish this, I think it's another workflow. Like it's a trend for the future. Like everyone probably engineer probably need to focus on customer more, not only the code itself. Yeah, I would say like every job is the same, like not only the engineer. People need to interact with people. That's how like human, like it's like a social animal. Like they need
Yeah.
to do social things. So it's really important to understand someone's needs for sure, and also you need to have like just to know the root cause, what's happening, and you can utilize the AI to help you to solve the problem, to give the real value. So on both sides, I think for the, like communication or knowing the more context in like for example like how to know like the needs something probably we can have more thinking in that way and also yeah for sure learn AI tools because AI can help you so much on the other side. If you have both sides you're gonna win. You even can build your like unicorn company for yourself by yourself because you know what to build and you have AI to help you build. You are like the middle. So this opportunity I will say like so many. So I think it's a big chance for like single developer to build a company. It's not like before it's so high but barrier you need to cross. It way more easy. But the thing is like just need to begin to build. I think yeah, that's always I heard so many people telling me that okay, just start building there. Yeah, like that's the only way you can know what's the limitations there and what's the next chance you can see. Yeah, because you know what's the limitation, so you want to solve the pain points. And then you know, okay, I need to improve my communication, so to know more about needs, and I need to improve the AI, like utilize AI ability to use more AI. Like in that sense, like you can grow faster and eventually reach your goal. I would say that.
That's awesome. Yeah, like meta prompting, where you're using AI to learn AI. And, that's like one of the really cool things that people don't sometimes think about. And when you tell this to somebody, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I wish I had thought about that," which is so interesting. So yeah, no, definitely learning these tools, and if they help your productivity, it's definitely like, I agree. Like it's helped me, and I think others should look into this type of systems as well. And yeah, that's
Yeah, I think like every engineer can become like product manager, become
yeah,
CEO because they just need to know how to communicate and knows the needs at first.
yeah,
Because most of jobs you can assign to AI to finish, I
yeah,
would say.
yeah. Yeah, and I think this is what the forward deployed engineering is now about, right? Getting more closer to the customer needs and building systems around those. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's that. Otherwise, I think we will have to wrap up here. Kenny, thank you very much for
Yeah.
sharing all the insights here. I appreciate that. And while we leave the podcast and we conclude, I just wanted to put this tradition where you have to ask the next guest a question, and I will ask them this question during the interview. So for whoever is the next guest who you don't know about, what question would you like to ask them?
I wanted to ask about like a AI security thing. Yeah. Because someone says that AI probably need to like know so like restricted the laws for the AI because we need to develop AI faster in this sense. But the other side that people are saying, probably the AI grows so fast and then it's unstoppable. Then one day probably it will hurt humans back. Yeah. So I really wanted to ask about like how do you think how the next guest will think about like what's the extent that AI should go? Like should we set some laws for that or should we just accelerate as fast as we can? Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's an awesome question. So yeah, noted that down, and that'll be the next question for the next guest. I'll make sure to look back to you and give the answer. Hopefully, you'll watch the next podcast as well.
Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, that's it. I want to conclude the episode. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you next time at the Deployed Engineer channel. Thank you.